All right, so I worked on this War of the Spark Magic the Gathering cinematic, and I did a few shots, but this shot took us quite a bit of time to do. I think it was almost like 2 months. There's a lot of things I learned on this shot, painful lessons. Let's talk about them. Essentially, the director came and they were like, we have a destruction shot. It's in slow motion. The RBD is interacting with 2 people. It's 5 centimeters away from the camera, and also it's in reverse. It's not a good combination, honestly. So a lot of these things are hand placed because a lot of these pieces, sometimes they would either explode or they wouldn't stop in place, or, you know, it's really hard to art direct simulations like this. So I was placing invisible colliders just so I could really specifically art direct the face. So this shot here specifically had to be really carefully constructed. Invisible colliders. I also had to know where light is gonna be coming from, so I was framing everything. So there was not a lot of RBD and destruction happening on this side, so it wasn't obstructing. A lot of trickery. So for this destruction, I remember, yeah, the setup. Actually, I think I have the file. What are you about to see? It's gonna scare a lot of people. Usually the reaction is, oh my God. Are you guys ready? Oh my God. Oh no. Oh, sweet Lord. I remember a few of these were quite insane. Oh yeah, this is kind of the old way of doing RBD, but some of these things were pretty hectic. What was happening here? Why is this all red? Why are you red? But I remember working on this at 3 a.m. I was alone in the studio, just simulating the shot, animating pieces by hand. Yep, good times. I think it turned out pretty well though. I was quite proud of this when we did it. So the pillar and the bricks, that's quite easy to do, but the problematic part was this plaster on top, because this geometry was very unstable. It was like sculpted by hand in ZBrush, so it was super high poly, super high res. So I had to do a lot of proxy simulations, and essentially I was just attaching the plaster on the bricks. The bricks are simulated, the plaster isn't. And then there was another shot. We ended up removing the pieces falling down here. There was like chunks of debris falling on the ground. I remember I did a very clever solution where the piece falls down and I did a dot product between the velocity and the up vector. So if the pieces were bouncing way too much up in the air, and it felt like they didn't have enough weight. But if you do a cross product, so it's super simple. So up, and if the velocity is also going up, and if it's higher, if the dot product is higher than 0.5, so it becomes kind of going up, multiply the velocity down, and that really helps with the weight, with the mass of RBD. Anyway, good stuff. All right. Yeah, I also did this thing, this magic, which the first few version of the magic on her hand was super nice. It was like so magical, and it was like very nice. I spent like a week on it. I even remember a lot of people in the office actually were like, oh, such a cool effect. And then the director and the client was like, no, it has to be, it has to be these sparkly flames. I was like, but my beautiful effects. So in the end, yeah, it was just this flamey thing that she keeps using. Nothing special, but it was a very nice effect that didn't make the cut.